So, you say you've got a nervous system, but it's not meeting all your regulation needs. Well, have I got a deal for you. What you need is an endocrine system. What's an endocrine system, you may ask? Well, it's a system of glands and hormones. That's glands and hormones. Glands and hormones that keep the body in perfect homeostatic balance. You say you've heard it before, how hormone levels can help the body adjust to changing conditions, but the hormones you get with this system are the best you can buy. What makes the endocrine system special is that it's ductless. That's right, there are no special tubes to distribute these hormones throughout the body. They get added to the bloodstream, transported by the circulatory system, and get to where they do their work. Yes, that's how they get there. They're ductless. They get put into the circulatory system and spread to those incredible locations where they're needed, called the target cells. What does this system include? Well, you get a complete set of glands that will produce those glorious chemicals, those hormones that will regulate that body of yours. These glands include the pituitary, which fits at the base of your brain, the thyroid that goes in your neck. Embedded in your thyroid will be the parathyroid glands. You'll get a pair of adrenal glands that will mount on each of your kidneys. And last but not least, you get the islets of Langerhans that are in your pancreas. Put them all together, and what you get is one great system that will work with your current nervous system, guaranteed to function, and work together to maintain homeostatic balance. That's right, this endocrine system is a regulation system you can't do without. It includes the pituitary at the base of the brain that will release growth hormone during those key growth years. Yes, that pituitary gland will make those long bones get even longer. The arms and the legs will stretch out to help you grow and meet your full growing potential. If you want to grow, our pituitary gland will give you the growth hormones you need. Our thyroid is top quality and will produce thyroxine to help regulate your metabolism. Yes, thyroxine is a hormone that can speed up or slow down those chemical reactions in the body, so once your thyroid is in your neck, it can keep your metabolism nice and steady. Embedded into your thyroid are those little 4 parathyroid glands. They're small, but they're absolutely powerful and extremely extraordinary. So if you want well-developed nerves, muscles, and strong bones and teeth, then try the parathyroid so it can regulate your calcium. That's right, regulate calcium with your parathyroid, which produces the gland parathormone. You'll never have to worry about your calcium levels again when you get our parathyroids. Now, how about an endocrine gland that produces 2 really important hormones? Yes, the adrenals will sit on top of your kidneys. Yep, right on top of your kidneys you'll put your adrenals. And they will produce both cortisone and adrenaline. The cortisone regulates carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism. This hormone, cortisone, is guaranteed to promote the conversion of fats and proteins to that wonderful sugar, glucose. If it's fear you fear, your adrenals also produce adrenaline. Yes, adrenaline, that fight or flight hormone that raises blood sugar, speeds up your metabolism, accelerates your heart rate and your breathing. So when you're trying to decide whether to fight or run away, your adrenals will be there to help you out and pump out some extra adrenaline to give you that extra boost that you need to cope with almost any situation. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get the islets of Langerhans in your pancreas. Yes, the islets of Langerhans are located in the pancreas. This nifty gland will produce both insulin and glucagon. Insulin causes the cells to take up glucose, to take up sugar and store it away so that your levels don't get too high. And glucagon will take stored sugar and release it into the bloodstream so that you don't get too tired and all worn out. Remember, of course, all of this is completely dependent on the amount of food you take in, because of course if you're eating big meals or taking in a lot of carbohydrates, your sugar levels will rise by themselves, and insulin may have to do the work of lowering it and storing that sugar away for later. So, you get the pituitary for growth hormone, the thyroid to regulate metabolism, the parathyroid to regulate your calcium levels, the adrenals to produce both cortisol and adrenaline. Cortisol will regulate the breakdown of all those big organic molecules like proteins and starches and lipids. And the adrenaline will get you ready for those fight or flight situations where you might need that little boost of extra energy so that you can fight off a bear or run away from an intruder. One can never tell, or even more important, you might have to run away from your science teacher when he wants you to study. These glands and hormones are guaranteed for life and made of the finest quality. I will warn you though, should your pituitary oversecrete, you could suffer gigantism. That's right, oversecretion of your pituitary can lead to a person becoming a giant. Or if your pituitary undersecretes, you could wind up being a dwarf. Not one of the ones from Snow White, but someone who suffers from dwarfism, undergrowth of the long bones. We take no responsibility if your thyroid oversecretes and you become nervous or you lose a lot of weight. Undersecretion of the thyroid could lead to cretinism, which is associated with mental disability and small size. Should your diet be deficient in iodine, you could wind up with a goiter, a large mass in your neck due to the thyroid not getting enough iodine. So make sure if you get our thyroid that you take in enough iodine to maintain it properly. Just follow the instructions included with your kit. If your parathyroid undersecretes, you may suffer nerve disorders, brittle bones, and clotting problems in the blood. If your adrenals malfunction, you could get Cushing's disease and produce high blood sugar, and also excess lipids may build up in the body. If your adrenals undersecrete, you may suffer Addison's disease, resulting in low blood glucose and possible weight loss. Undersecretion of the adrenals may also lead to an inability to deal with stress. So make sure you keep your adrenals in good working order, or you may not be able to handle those stressful situations. Oversecretion of the pancreas's insulin can result in low blood sugar. Undersecretion of insulin will not store enough sugar, and you may have a disorder called diabetes. Fortunately, people with diabetes, due to an undersecretion of insulin, are able to get synthetic insulin and inject it into their body to maintain a normal level. So now you may be asking yourself, how have I gotten by without an endocrine system so long? How have I managed without hormones? Well, you did have your nervous system to help regulate your body, but with a complete endocrine system, you're going to have regulation that you never dreamed of. So if you'd like to order a system of your own, dial 1-800-HORMONE. That's 1-800-HORMONE, and we'll ship out to you overnight express a complete endocrine system with all those glands and hormones to regulate your body. That's 1-800-HORMONE. Still wondering if an endocrine system is for you? Wondering if you want to make the investment to get all those great glands and hormones? Well, here's a little video to help you understand better how it works.
Our body is always in flux. When we are cold, our body shivers. When we are hot, our body sweats. Our body engages in these activities to keep our internal temperature constant. This is an example of homeostasis, which is defined as the ability of the body to maintain a constant internal state. One major way the body maintains homeostasis is through the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a system of glands that produce hormones to regulate and control bodily activities. The endocrine system controls a number of important functions throughout the body, including growth and development, metabolism, and homeostasis. There are many different hormones in the body, and each is responsible for different functions. Estradiol, testosterone, insulin, growth hormone, and epinephrine are just a few examples of hormones. Although they are involved in different functions of the endocrine system, hormones work in a similar manner. First, a gland detects a change in the body's internal environment. This gland then increases the secretion of hormones, which enter the bloodstream. Hormones travel through the blood and can have potential effects throughout the body. However, hormones will not act on every cell. Hormones activate target cells by binding to specific receptors on the inside or outside of the target cells. When a hormone binds to a receptor, the receptor sends a signal throughout the cell. Just like a megaphone amplifies the volume of a person's voice, a hormone's message is amplified inside the cell. This signal goes a long way. Just a few hormones can induce great change. Once hormones have succeeded in sending their message to their target cells, and in this case homeostasis is achieved, the gland decreases the secretion of hormones. The mechanism by which the gland stops secreting hormones is called negative feedback. What exactly is negative feedback? Negative feedback allows a system to self-regulate a response or output. The following example may help explain. A house regulates temperature using negative feedback. When the thermostat detects a decrease in temperature, it sends a message to the furnace to produce heat. When the thermostat detects that the room temperature has returned to the correct level, it stops sending its message to the furnace. A furnace will turn on and off several times a day to keep the temperature relatively constant. Now let's look at a specific example of homeostasis using a hormone many of you may have already heard of: insulin. Let's say a person eats a meal. As the food is digested and glucose is absorbed into the bloodstream, blood glucose levels begin to rise. It is important for this glucose to be removed from the blood, otherwise it may cause damage to important organs such as the liver, brain, and kidneys. Thus, to maintain blood glucose levels, insulin is released from an endocrine gland, the pancreas. The pancreas senses increased blood glucose and releases insulin into the blood. Insulin travels through the blood and binds to receptors in muscles, fat tissue, and as shown here, the liver. Upon binding to receptors, insulin causes an increase in glucose transporters, allowing excess glucose to be taken from the blood and stored in the liver for future use. This uptake of glucose by the liver and other organs for storage restores blood glucose levels to a balanced state. Homeostasis has been achieved. Because blood glucose levels have reached homeostasis, the pancreas will stop secreting insulin. This is just one type of hormone involved in the endocrine system. Remember, glands of the endocrine system send messages to the body in a similar manner. A gland senses a change in the body and secretes a hormone. Hormones travel through the blood. Hormones are receptor specific. A hormone signal is amplified. And finally, hormones are regulated by feedback, many times negative feedback.